back, Super Brain, and welcome to your implementation day. Now, what are we gonna do today? We're gonna do a little bit of a review and a reminder of what you need to do, and I'm gonna share with you my morning jumpstart routine. What I do every single morning to jumpstart my brain so I can jumpstart my day. Now, remember these days are specifically for 4 things. Number 1, if you missed any of the lessons, this is your opportunity this day to be able to watch them. And if you want to rewatch any of our lessons, this would be the opportunity to do that also as well, because remember, review is very important. Part of how we learn is this spaced review. So every once in a while, we review material that we've seen in the past so we could convert it to our short-term and long-term memory so we could own it and become part of us. The third thing that I want to remind you of here in our implementation days are also to be able to do the homework. So remember, we had homework for each of the lessons. This would be opportunity if you didn't do any of that homework, or do it now. Do those homework now. And even if you did some of the homework, maybe you want to go deeper and repeat some of these exercises also as well. And finally, number 4, as a reminder, is just be active in the tribe. And congratulations, be active in the tribe. You want to be in that community because remember, learning is not solo, it's social. Now, the past few days, we've been talking about the 10 keys for unlocking your super brain, and it's really a lifestyle. This is a brain, a super brain, healthy, fit lifestyle. It's not one thing you do every so often, it's what you do consistently, right? And it really comes down to routines and habits. And so what I want to do in this implementation day is teach you something new and share with you what I do every single morning, my morning routine, my morning habits, because here's the thing. First, you make your habits, you create your habits, and then your habits create you right back, right? And so I'm gonna share with you my morning routine and habits, and the reason why I routine everything is this, is we only have a certain amount of willpower, right? After a while, people talk about the fatigue, mental fatigue, and brain fog, and you only have a certain amount of good decisions you can make every single day. They call it decision fatigue, because after you make all your good decisions, you could be at dinner at a restaurant looking at a menu and you don't know what you want for dinner. You can't make a simple decision like ordering food for yourself because you've used all your good decisions up. So one of the ways to prevent that is by routining your life so you don't have to think about things over and over again, by creating your own habits. Right? So for example, when I get to work with a lot of CEOs. For example, Tony Hsieh, who is the CEO of Zappos. And Tony wears the same t-shirt all the time. So when you talk to leaders like the CEO of Facebook and such like that, you ask them, why are you wearing the same clothes every single day? They'll tell you they don't want to suffer from decision fatigue. They don't want to waste one of their good decisions on what am I going to wear today when they can apply that towards something that they're passionate about and projects that they're very purposeful with. All right, so you on board about routining your life and your habits? I hope you are. So what do I do every single morning? Because I believe, as you've heard the saying being said, that if you could win the first hour a day, then you could win the rest of the day. Because it's like the science of momentum. Success breeds success. So how do you build positive momentum? And also, how do you do it in a very brain-friendly way? And so here are a few things that I do every single morning. The first thing I do when I wake up is I remember my dreams. And I mentioned this before, and we're gonna go deeper in one of the lessons, is how do you remember your dreams? And the reason why you wanna remember your dreams is because while you dream, you're learning. It doesn't stop when you fall asleep. You're actually learning and processing and solving problems. The challenge is when people wake up, they forget their dreams, right? And so one of our future lessons could be how to remember your dreams. So after I remember my dreams, I get out of bed, and the second thing I do is I make my bed. And you're like, Jim, why do you make your bed? How's that good for your brain? First of all, we already talked about one of the 10 keys for unlocking your super brain is a clean environment. So I want to clean my sleep sanctuary, if you will. But the other reason I make my bed is I want to start with success. I want to start with excellence. It's one of the reasons I think that the military, they train you to make your bed and make it extremely neat, because you want to start with excellence, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So you might as well start with a nice check mark, a really good win. The other reason is when I come back home and I get to come back to success. I get to come back full circle to my success, right? Which is really good for my sleep and my brain and everything in between. Now, after that, the next thing I do is I have a lot of water. A lot of water, because the problem is we use a lot of water in the middle of the night. You lose a lot of water and your brain is mostly water. So I super hydrate with water. So another thing I do in no specific order is I brush my teeth. And you're like, Jim, why is brushing your teeth good for your brain? Actually, I have a very specific way of doing it. I brush my teeth with the opposite hand, my non-dominant hand. We know that as your body moves, your brain grooves. That eating with the opposite hand or brushing your teeth with the opposite hand creates more neurological connections, neuroplasticity. After that, so now I woke up, I remember my dreams, I made my bed, I started it with success and excellence. I had hydration, which is very important. I brushed my teeth with the opposite hand. And then I do breathing techniques. And I think it's very important because your brain is only 2% of your body weight, but it uses 20% of the nutrients and the oxygen. So I do a deep breathing technique. For some people, they do box breathing. Some people do alpha breathing. Some people use the Wim Hof method, something that works, fire breathing, something to get more oxygen. And remember, the lower 1/3 of your lungs absorbs 2/3 of the oxygen. And so even the posture makes a difference. Sometimes when people are slumped onto computers and they're bending down, they collapse their diaphragm. They're not getting the oxygen in their lower lungs. So deep breathing techniques. When I'm doing that also, as I'm doing breathing techniques, I'm actually making a brain tea. So what's in my brain tea? I put gotu kola, I put lion's mane, I put ginkgo biloba, I put some omega-3s in there also as well, a brain tea, and it just activates my focus and my memory. So the next thing I do after I drink my brain tea is I want to do something physical and something mental, right? When I was with Will Smith, the actor, I get to help a lot of actors memorize line and speed read scripts and such like that. He's like, Jim, every morning I run and I read. I want to do something physical and something mental. So I kind of adopted that. Every morning I like to do just 4 minutes, so some intense workout, maybe some burpees or some calisthenics, because I want to get my heart going, because I want to drive oxygen into my brain. Anything that's good for your heart is good for your head. It's not my exercise for the day, but I want to do something to kind of jumpstart my day. I also want to do something to jumpstart my mental day, right? And so what I do is that's usually where I'm doing my quest. So you want to do something physical and something mental. Remember, for you to create neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, new connections, new brain cells, you need to introduce novelty and nutrition. So I'm getting all the nutrition in the morning, I'm introducing also novelty. Novelty through physical exercise and novelty also through new learning. So that's when I'm doing my quest. And then after that, I'll make a brain power smoothie. I talk about my top 10 foods for my brain, right? And I'll take a lot of those top 10 brain foods. So I'm taking all this food, I'm putting it into the blender, I'm putting the blueberries and the avocado, the green leafy vegetables in there, the water, maybe a little dark chocolate. I won't put the salmon in there because that's really gross. So I'll whip up this really great brain smoothie and I feel completely confident that I could come back at the end of the day. People are like, well, how's your day? And I was like, I crushed it, I really won. And a big part of it is because I launched it the correct way the first hour of the day. So those are my quick tips of what I do every single morning to activate, jumpstart my super brain. I hope they were helpful for you. What I want you to do now is remember, implementation day, watch any of the lessons that you missed, rewatch the ones you want to go deeper with, make sure that you do the homework, the fun work for each of those, and if you have already, consider doing them again to go deeper in your levels of learning, to deepen the grooves, and then finally, be very active in the tribe and the community, because that's really where the magic happens. And in there, I'd love for you to be able to share your morning routine. What do you do every single morning to jumpstart your day and also jumpstart your brain? I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson.